Hi everyone, Bernard here. Hope you're all well. This is a little movie review on an American film called Bombshell. So if you like what we do here, please, if you've not done so already, please subscribe, push the bell notifications when you know when these little information vlogs and movie review vlogs, etc. coming out. And thumbs up's always nice. Just takes you a second, doesn't it, to do that? It's always nice to get a thumbs up, get appreciated. Anyway, we're going to have a look at a film called Bombshell today. Which I actually watched yesterday evening, and I'll tell you what I thought in a minute. Let me just tell you a little bit about the film. It's an American biographical drama directed by Jay Roach and written by Charles Randolph. It stars a multitude of great actors. I mean, we've got Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, John Lithgow, Kate McKinnon, Connie Britton, Malcolm McDowell, Alison Janney, and lots of other superb actors and actresses. It was released in the US on December the 13th on a limited release, and then it was opened nationwide in America on December the 20th. It actually opened in the UK on the 17th of January, so just a couple of about 5 or 6 weeks ago, on the 17th of January 2020. What's it about? Well, it's based upon the accounts of the women at Fox News who set out to expose CEO Roger Ailes for sexual harassment. And it concentrates on Gretchen Carlson, who slaps Fox News founder Roger Ailes with a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment. Not a soul could predict what would happen next. The decision leads to Fox News correspondent Megyn Kelly coming forward with her own story, as well as multiple other women inciting a movement that reverberates around the world. Any good? Well, box office, it did okay. It was a £13 million budget, probably made up of wages, to be honest with you, most of the work based on what actors were in it. It was $32 million budget, and it got $56 million back at the box office. Critics-wise, Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 70% based on 298 reviews, and has an average rating of 6.7 out of 10. The website's critics consensus reads, Bombshell benefits from a terrific cast and a worthy subject, but its impact is muffled by a frustrating inability to go deeper than the sensationalistic surface. The Metacritic rating averages a score of 6.4 out of 10, so similar based on reviews from 46 critics. And the ratings go as low as 5 to 10. And this is from New York Post Johnny Alexinski, who said, what Bombshell has going for it is a jaunty pace. The film by Jay Roach, the Austin Powers director, who's had rotten luck with dramas, clips along and is always watchable, but it misguidedly mimics other annoying ripped-from-the-headlines movies such as The Big Short and Vice that rely on Elvis impersonator acting, smug narration and quick cuts. Sometimes you just want to see a tough topic taken seriously. So that was a low rating. The highest rating was a 9 out of 10 from Variety's Owen Gleiberman, who wrote, Bombshell is a scolding and powerful movie about what selling in America has become. The film is about selling sex, selling a candidate, selling yourself, selling the truth, and about how at Fox News all those things came together. Well, that's the critics. Did the public like it? Well, pretty much. I mean, there was some negativity, but it had an average of 6.8 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database, which isn't too bad. And some comments taken from there. Hollywood propaganda, 3 out of 10. Not as I expected, 5 out of 10. Lovely visuals and makeup, but not as powerful as it was sold to be, 6 out of 10. A strong film, 8 out of 10. Jay Roach is getting better at these political movies, 7 out of 10. Yeah, so I've watched this, obviously my little movie game nostalgia review. I echo some of the sentiment from the critics earlier on about the depth of this film. And I have commented that the film clearly divides public opinion in the US. Watching here in the UK with no great knowledge of the events, I found the story enjoyable, which is a strange word to use about such a serious subject. We have had a plethora of our own celebrities and the powerful being accused of sexual harassment and even harsher actions involving children. And it's a terrible subject to cover on film, and is surely more a documentary item to inform rather than entertain. This movie never quite captures the obvious importance and really just candy floss. Theron, Kidman and Lithgow are great, and the array of acting talent is excellent. I even enjoyed the small part from Malcolm McDowell as Rupert Murdoch. The film is superbly shot, and I believe it won awards for hair and makeup, and I don't doubt why. And I must admit, I did like the movie from an entertainment point of view, but as I said, whether this thing should be entertainment. I'm not too sure with the subject it was covering, and as one of the critics said earlier, it was a little bit light on depth, and actually I think it should be a bit more gritty, but obviously it seems to be a little bit glossed over. It was very hard with Lithgow as the protagonist, obviously as the CEO, who's obviously questionable actions. It's very hard to dislike Lithgow, so it's very hard to see him in that sort of role. So that certainly didn't help in the film. But overall, I did like the film. I mean, I give it all a rating of 7 out of 10, which is, if you know my scores, is quite a good rating. So that's Bombshell, which I think is still out in certain cinemas around the world, but obviously it will be, I think, on home release sometime in April or May. I'll confirm that nearer the time. Anyway, thanks for joining for this review of Bombshell. If you watched the film or you're going to watch it, please let me know in the comments what you think about it, whether you agree or disagree. But again, very mixed reviews on this one. It may be different watching in the UK than in the US. It has more relevance in the US, and as I said, in the UK we have our own problems and sexual harassment cases, etc., historical things. So perhaps wasn't picked up on as much here as it was over there in the United States. But certainly a very interesting watch, a very a good watch. A well done movie. Obviously the quality of the film and the sets, etc., was superb. So I did enjoy that element of it. Although obviously the darker side is not very pleasant, is it? Anyway. Thanks for joining me for this. Please follow me on Twitter at nostalgia_movie. I'm on Facebook at Bernard Deneen with links to moviegamenostalgia.com, my website for old rare DVDs, posters, and board games. So please, if you can have a look on there, that's been most appreciated. Anyway, thanks for joining me for a few minutes today for my little special movie review on the film Bombshell. Anyway, we're going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one. Look after yourself. Look after your friends, and more importantly, look after family. And hopefully you'll join me again very soon for another little review or a movie special. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.